Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see who was here first. Amber Rowan, thank you so much for being here first. Greatly appreciate it. Hello, Sonia Johnson, Ada Ali, Yulibi, Lydia Washington, MJB, Love Wins Movement, Carol Lunn, Mary H., Judy Matasset, and a host of friends and others, like Emma D with the Forget Me Nots. Okay, let me go ahead and grab my slides, and then we're ready to go. Which, by the way, I don't know. I always hear people say, "Oh, uh, they're just trying to get clicks. They're trying to get engagement, but they're also lying and they're trying to rewrite history." So I would rather err on the side of telling the truth and, of course, setting the record straight than to say nothing and to let them rewrite history and make over someone's history in their own likeness, or even worse, lies. Do you know? Okay, well, we'll get to it. It really is a matter of when is it the right time to say something, excuse me, or say nothing at all. I don't have an answer for that. I just have to go with my feelings because they have successfully, well, not completely. I mean, there are some people that still remember, but you know what? We're not always going to be here. And to a future generation, I wonder what Princess Diana's legacy will be to a future generation. You know, one of the most popular ways to learn about the royal family is from The Crown, right? And I've seen The Crown. A lot of you have seen The Crown. Would you say that they have done Princess Diana's memory any justice? Has there been a documentary, or has there been I guess, a docudrama? Has there been a docudrama that has paid proper respect to Princess Diana? I don't think there has been one because those same royal reporters, they always pop up in a documentary about Princess Diana. So again, I have to say it is not easy to decide when are you saying too much or when to say too little or say nothing at all. And I guess we all have to just let our we have to let our conscience be our guide, right? We have to let our conscience be our guide. And in our deep consciousness, if it says speak up, speak out, don't let them get away with it, go with that. Or if you feel like, oh, you know what? I think I'm only helping them make their case, then don't say anything. Um, but I guess you just have to step out on faith because how do you know? You know what I'm saying? How do you know? I mean, I would love to say I've seen a documentary that has, and I think I've seen at least one, and that was the one where they showed Princess Diana. It was all home movies before the day of the smartphone. It was all home movies where Diana made promises to meet with people, to visit with families, and without any cameras, except for the ones that were already there from the people who had their little home video devices, we wouldn't know that it happened. It wasn't in the newspapers. It was just Diana saying, okay, I'll be there. And there has been many times that Diana said, I'll be there. And yet they want us to believe that Diana only showed up if she was trying to manipulate a situation or that she was trying to play some game, as it were, right? That is the Diana that they want us to remember, is a Diana that is in their likeness, someone that they have created, someone who existed in in that institution, obviously, that existed in a way that, oh, she asked for it, she got what she had coming, right? She was playing a very dangerous game. That's the Diana they want you to remember. You know, Harry hasn't really written a book about Diana yet. I think maybe his next book should be about his mother. I'd read it. I'd read it. But that's the danger of it. If you don't say anything, you are giving them license to remake a person's memory, to create a legacy that is not accurate. So that is my answer for that. Yeah, I wish it was more artful, but that's the best I could say it. Let's see. Luna C, thank you so much for becoming a member of Royal Sussex. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate that. Lex says, did you know that Diana refused security? I'm told. Uh-huh. I thought she lost her security with the HRH. When they stripped the HRH, you know, the same way that they said that Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals and therefore they're not entitled to security. And the fact that Harry was born into that family, a prince of the blood, means absolutely nothing to those people. So, yeah, that is exactly what they're implying, Legs. And you're so right about that. They want us to believe that Diana refused security, even though she was being chased and hounded and was not safe. At any given time, the palace could have stopped those things from happening. But because of the War of the Welleses, Charles, who, of course, would be the future monarch, the Prince of Wales at the time, of course, he was able to use his power to make Diana's life, make her movements, make her existence unsafe. That's exactly what happened. Life was not safe for her anymore. So, thank you, Legs. Okay. So let's get on with it because I have quite a few slides. Okay. So don't compare Harry and Meghan's. Oh, I forgot to. Okay. I'll fix that later. But don't forget to compare Harry and Meghan's successful tours to William and Kate's failed tours. Absolute failures. I mean, they are failures through and through, which is why they haven't been on any tours since they went to the Caribbean. So before we get to that, happy National Military Brats Day. In case you didn't know it, for about the next hour and 42 minutes for me, it is still National Military Brats Day. Proudly serving our service members, veterans, and their families. Of course, that is the Fisher House. And the Fisher House, of course, they actually provide housing for wounded, sick or injured soldiers so that they can get treatment. And also, the housing is available so that they can have their families there with them, which is part of the healing process, is having your loved ones near. So at no cost to the families, they could actually stay at a Fisher House, which I think is wonderful. And they also have a program at Fisher's House. If you have some extra Sky Miles that you would like to donate to Fisher House, it could help them bring families to the medical facilities So, because sometimes the military hospitals, the veterans hospitals, they are, not exactly local to some people. So this way they can not only get the soldiers there for the specialized treatment or the veterans, but they can also, I'm sorry, the veterans, veterans, and they could also get their family members there. So very, very valuable work they do. And if you notice the photo, it's like there's the kid who is trying to get on her tippy toes so that she can embrace her father. And here is another one of those scenes. Isn't this an adorable image where the mom is the soldier and the girl, of course, being embraced by her adoring mother? I'm looking at that French manicure. Beautiful. Those nails look spectacular. But yeah, what a thing to notice, right? But yeah, I love that photo. Uh, Esmeralda Dillon, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And check that out. As I've said so many times, if one member of the family serves, the entire family serves. That's what I mean by that. And if you don't know what the military brats are, those are the kids that follow their parents around the world in their deployments. Like if there's a military base in the UK or in Germany, well, their families sometimes they go over and live over there with them. Pretty cool, huh? And at a great discount, they can buy things that they need from the shop restaurants on the base and all that kind of stuff. So very cool. All right. R. Erickson, thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. And oh, by the way, you guys, thank you so much. Congratulations to you all. We want to extend a heartfelt thanks to the worldwide supporters of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, for your generous donations and dedication to ensuring the success of our annual Sussex Community Global fundraiser. We are pleased to share that Centabale has once again acknowledged and appreciated our efforts in their annual report. So they have a report online, right? Report and accounts year ending 31 August 2023. So the report has been compiled and everything. And it says, let's see, there it is. I made it bigger so you can see, but there's all that very small print on the left side. But what's important to us is here at the bottom. It says other major donations. Corporate foundations like Diamonds Do Good have helped boost our Let Youth Lead program in Botswana, while global income from the Marshall Foundation allowed us to invest flexibly in our work. And it continues once again, we received a generous, unrestricted donation from the James and Deborah Burrows Foundation and from U.S. community fundraising supporter Sussex Community Event. So that is you all. They call it the Sussex Community Event. And is that what I had on? Yeah, you see it right there. So that is on Twitter. And they have all of the formal announcements that are made in regards to the Sussexes, not like just magazine articles and stuff, but things like a financial report. They will post that as well as other things that are very important to us. So, again, and from U.S. community fundraising supporter, Sussex Community Events. So, thank you all very much. And let me make sure you all get some much needed applause because let me see, how much has the Sussex squad raised so far? Has it been like $2 million? In the years that the Sussex squad existed, we have raised a lot of money. So let's see, here we go. All right. So thank you all very much for your generosity. Okay. And right here. Oh, Carol, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for being here with us on Royal Sussex. Very nice of you. Now, I call it Teigen toast. So, Chrissy Teigen, if you're watching, I am referring, I will refer to your sandwich as the Teigen toast. I got my ingredients today. All I really needed was the brie. I needed that triple cream brie cheese, right? So the Teigen toast, rustic bread, check. Triple cream brie, check. Strawberry jam preserve, preferably American Riviera orchard, but I had to make do. Check. And thick cut bacon. Check. Oh, there we go. Check. So, would you like to see this creation of mine? So I used that what is it? Bone maman? Bone maman. Yeah, well, anyway, now you can see I kind of had to improvise a bit because that's about $7 a jar. And I use raspberry instead of the strawberry, but I think it was pretty close. So I actually substituted raspberry instead of the strawberry, but I'm going to hold out for the American Riviera Orchard. And then I fried some of that Black Forest bacon. If you haven't had the Black Forest bacon, they sell it at Trader Joe's. It's thick, it's smoky, it's good. Oh, is it good? And then, of course, there's that French label, the what is that? Beltoli, triple cream brie. Ooh, mm. Très magnifique. Yeah. And then there's the sandwich. So I grilled the bacon, and then I used another pan to grill the rustic bread, which is actually a bit grainy, but I forgot what exactly what, but I got it from Trader Joe's. And then there's that brie. You can see the brie peeking out under the bacon. And somewhere between that top piece and the bacon, there is a generous amount of preserve jam. And then I just grilled it a little bit more so it was buttery and uh, lightly toasted in the pan. Oh my goodness, it was delicious. Oh, woo! It was good. I mean, the brie was just as creamy and delicious, and oh well, what could I say? It was one of the best experiences I've ever had with a sandwich. Um, and I keep jam anyway, so I'm a huge fan of jam. And as I'm older, I don't like that cheap stuff anymore. But it was delicious. So, um, okay, one more look before I go. Seems like I could still smell it. See how the brie started oozing out of the sandwich? Oh, I took a big bite out of it, but you can see how the brie is just oozing out of the sandwich. Oh, and by the way, that plate, I think is Rachel Ray. Yeah, I think that's a Rachel Ray plate. Yeah, I saved some of those grocery store stamps to get those plates. And then what do you know? I was at a resale shop and there was a whole stack of them. So I got some more of them now. Love that plate. It's very flat. It doesn't have like a big pie crust edge to it. It's like very flat. Looks very elegant. But anyway, so that's enough about that sandwich. Now, Nigeria welcomes Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Of course, they do. Um, as you can see, Media Wire Express, same thing. Prince Harry, Meghan to visit Nigeria for Invictus Games. Well, actually, it's not for the games, but it is in appreciation and preparation and so on and so forth. Like possibly the games may actually come to Nigeria, but that's close enough. And then check it out here, Invictus Games Foundation. We're kicking off our 10-year anniversary celebration this May with lots of activities, so be sure to follow us across social media. You can follow the Invictus Games Foundation and the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 for all your official Invictus news. So, yeah, there you go. If you're on Facebook, and I've never used that one before, X. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that they were on TikTok. And of course, YouTube. And then there's Instagram. And if you need any more information, you could always go to invictusgamefoundation.org or Invictus Games 2025 Canada. Is that what that CA means? Canada? I've never seen that .ca before. Well, anyway, it's there. So feel free to use it. Please frequent those pages. And as I've said so many times, um, there is a Sussex.com website. Now, our faves, Harry and Meghan, paid a lot of money to get that domain from the person who owned it, so that at the very least, you all can frequent Sussex.com. They've been updating it a lot. They have been updating it a lot. And the Sussex.com is linked to the Sussex, what is it? Archwell Foundation. Sussex.com, it will take you to Archwell Foundation as well as Archwell Productions. So they have their philanthropic wing of it. And then there's also the money maker, the Sussex Squad. What am I saying? Sussex Squad. The the production company, Archwell Productions. So there you go. Well, I think I'm keeping a good pace tonight. Let's try to keep this moving, right? So, okay, that's kind of small. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay. Try to look at it on the other monitor here. Invictus Games Foundation, we are incredibly grateful to be joined by Damian Lewis to read the Invictus poem at the service of Thanksgiving on May the 8th. In the crypt of St. Paul's Cathedral is a memorial bust of William Henley, whose poem has inspired us all. So that memorial bust, which you can see there on the left side, is in the crypt of St. Paul's Cathedral. If you haven't been there, there is a crypt downstairs, and there's a few war heroes, national heroes, I think, that are entombed there. And well, anyway, you can. I felt kind of weird when I went to St. Paul's because I did go down to the crypt, and then I had to, go to the loo. I had to use the restroom, the water closet, and I just did not like relieving myself so close to those sacred burial sites. But I did, and like probably tens of thousands of other people that have gone through St. Paul's Cathedral. But I'm just saying, for the record, I didn't like it. I was I was morally opposed, but I also had to pee. So, um, but I was morally opposed to the gesture of doing that so close to the tomb of Nelson. But I had to go. So I'm sure Nelson would understand. I mean, after all, he was a sailor. I mean, what did he do? Go off the side of the boat? I don't know. At least I didn't go off the side of the boat, right? Okay, so that is what I did. Okay. And Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard Jam is kid tested and approved by friend Heather Dorick. So it is kid tested, mother approved. That is like an old ad that they used to have, that a product was kid tested and mother approved. So the Duchess of Sussex released the first product from her American Riviera Orchard earlier this month. Maybe. We don't know if she's actually selling jam, but it seems like it has been a fantastic way to promote the, what do you call it? The American Riviera Orchard. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I would say it is a masterclass of promotion. All right, moving on. I think we're going at a very good pace tonight. Meghan Markle's first product for American Riviera Orchard revealed by friends that is. Thank you, M. Well, here is a collection of related stories, as they say in People magazine. And I'm like, wow, it's been quite a few articles about Meghan. So the Sussexes said this is going to be a very, well, Meghan is the one who made that announcement. That is going to be a spectacular year for all things Sussex. So let's hold them to it, shall we? I'm looking forward to it. So far, so good. So far, so yummy. Uh, Deb says, Baron, I'm sure those old bones didn't mind your tinkle. Those folks witnessed a lot more when they were alive. You know what? That is so true. Like those old chamber pots that they used to hurl out the window. Was that just a Parisian thing, or did they do that in a lot of other places where they would just take their chamber pots and hurl it out the window? Yeah, so at least I didn't do that. I didn't hurl a chamber pot out the window while I was there. While I was there, I'm not saying it never happened. I was just saying I've never done that while I was there. Okay. How did we go from a delicious sandwich to a chamber pot? Only on Royal Sussex. Okay. Hey, Novi D, Carmen's place. I'm not sure if this is a good thing, but they are there being treated for cancer, right? And there's all of these press and camera people and royal aides, and then some of the filthiest things in all of Greater London, the king and queen. So I just don't know that it's safe for them to be there, right? I'm talking about the patients, because you got all of these people coming in off the street, breathing all over them and everything. If you're being treated for cancer, shouldn't they be wearing a mask? Haven't their immune systems been reduced by the treatment? Two cancer patients chatting. The king meets Leslie Woodbridge while she is having her chemotherapy. He's with the queen. She's with husband Roger. She asks, how are you feeling? Hello, how are you feeling? And of course, couldn't hear the answer. Well, I mean, let's face it, Camilla was a chain smoker, and no doubt there's about 70 something years of nicotine coating the wax in her ears. Of course, she couldn't hear well. And then, too, don't forget, also muffling the sounds of the world. She has that ridiculous Farrah Fawcett hairstyle. Of course, she couldn't hear. She has all that nicotine brimming the ears. She has that ridiculous hairstyle from the 1970s. No, she couldn't hear. It's virtually impossible. That hairstyle has what they call a sound deadening effect. It suppresses the sound. I believe they said Rolls-Royce uses that same technology for the Maybach, where you take something bushy and fuzzy and unnecessary in most instances, and you just kind of stuff the panels of the car so that you don't hear all of the road noise. So there you go. Sorted. I've explained everything. Sharing is caring. So I just don't think it's right for them to be in there with those patients. Um, but I'm not the medical professional. I'm just saying I still wear my face mask in public places. And when I see situations like this, I just get a little nervous. Leg says, don't look full on. Remember that woman. Oh yeah, the one that found herself seated next to the queen consort. Nobody warned her, but next thing you know, she found out the order of seating, and her life has never been the same since. Um, this poor woman.
Part of the lunch club.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello.
Good morning, Your
Good morning.
Majesty. Thank you for coming.
There you
Love
are.
to see
So
you.
you're the only mountain here?
Yeah, I am.
Yes. Brave mountain. So how long did it take? So how long did it take?
I love the way her eyes, those eyes are saying, so help me God, if I figure out who put me next to this old thing, this fossil. If I figure out who put me next to this fossil, so help me. Well, thank you, Legs, for the reminder. Let's see. SF member for 9 months. Thank you. You are the only one I listen to get my daily laugh fix. Well, thank you, SF, and thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay. So right here, Chris Ship, that's Ship, SHIP. Chris Ship with a P, not a T. Let's see, watch it on ITVX. King reaches out and hold hands with fellow cancer patient as he returns to public duty after his cancer diagnosis. King returns to duty after positive cancer treatment. Well, this is something that is not typical of Charles III, right? That he would go to a hospital and visit patients. I don't know that he's done that a lot. And also in such a public way. And then, of course, echoing Princess Diana. I mean, it's very much a similar image where Diana, who back in 1987 opened up an AIDS ward at one of the local hospitals. You can see there in 1987, Princess Diana of Wales visited AIDS patients at a hospital in London. A famous photograph shows her shaking hands with patients without gloves. So it's almost a reenactment of that. Let's see. NH, thank you so much. I don't want to say your name, but thank you so much for the past few months. Okay, thank you. Oh, wait, it's probably more to that, right? Let me see here. Oh, no, that was the message. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, and then below you can see Princess Diana challenge HIV stigma With every hug after her death, Mandela empathetically praised Diana for her efforts surrounding the issue of HIV/AIDS when she sat on the bed of a man with HIV. So, again, you guys, I said this when I started, we don't have enough documentaries, or there's certainly not a movie that focuses solely on Diana where they really demonstrate her ability to to care for people. I just don't think the story has been told properly. I think a lot has been focused on the very volatile relationship with Charles, and of course, the very mysterious death in that tunnel in London, untimely, mysterious death in the tunnel in London. I'm not sorry, not London, Paris. Paris. Oh my goodness, Paris. Um, so I just don't think enough has been said or done. But then I don't think it would ever be enough because there's just too many things that speak out against her and not enough that celebrates her achievements. And she had plenty achievements by the time she was taken so young. So, speaking of underachievers, actually, nobody mentioned underachievers, but it's a great segue, right? Speaking of underachievers, you have Will and Kate, two of the laziest people that have ever drawn a breath. Well, those two lazy loafers that have never done a hard day work in their life. Kate Middleton has a little known hobby that she does in the dark, but William thinks she's crazy. Only William? Anyway, let me try that again without laughing. Kate Middleton has a little known hobby that she does in the dark, but William thinks she's crazy. Okay, see, I had to force myself not to say it that time. Otherwise, I would have probably said only William, but I didn't do it that time. Let me see here. The Princess of Wales previously revealed she absolutely loves slightly unusual hobby, but admits her husband, Prince William, thinks she's crazy. I won't say it again. Let's see. But over here it says for the Princess of Wales, this hobby isn't just a real passion, an enjoyable way of spend to spend her time. It has a bonus and is likely to have made her even more popular with her father-in-law Charles. Okay, so I want you to notice the difference. On the left side, this article is from the past couple days, and they're talking about Kate loving to take a nice cold swim, which is scary, especially if you're Kate Middleton, and maybe some people don't feel like you should ever be queen. Certainly, I'm not one of them, but that's kind of scary. I mean, we haven't seen her. She hasn't been publicly seen since Christmas, right? Arguably, she has not been publicly seen since Christmas. Even if that situation where she was sitting on the bench, let's say that wasn't photoshopped or AI or whatever, allegedly, she still hasn't been seen publicly. She has not been seen publicly. So that being said, it does sound kind of scary that there's a story being passed around to the tabloids that you like to take a cold swim at night. Well, so do a lot of people that are missing. Missing and presumed on the other side. Yeah, missing and presumed on the other side. So that right there by itself is scary. But the other article because once I saw that, I'm just like, haven't I heard about Kate's hobbies before? So the one on the right side is from a couple years ago, and that's when they were trying to proclaim Kate as this very talented photographer. You see there, the Princess of Wales, this hobby isn't just a real passion and an enjoyable way to spend her time. It has the bonus. It is and is likely to have made her even more popular with her father-in-law. Well, they're trying to link Kate and Charles as the family artists, Charles with his watercolor paintings, and Kate with her photography. Okay, on any given day, I'd rather see a watercolor by the king than one of those photos by the Princess of Wales, because now that we know better, that most of her photos that have been released publicly have been heavily altered, also known as the Frankenstein effect, then you can't really enjoy them the same way as you would have in the past, knowing that there's probably some alteration or deep editing, deep fake technology, who knows. So that hobby of Kate's, the photographer, I think they should stop talking about that. Now, this was written back in November of 2023 about the photography, but I hope that they will leave that alone because they were trying to imply Lisa Combs, I just caught that out the corner of my eye. Hobby is photoshopping late at night. I love it. You get a bell for that. Yes, that's the hobby. All nighters photoshopping. Um, Possibly. That's probably a good chance that that's exactly how it happens. And YM Droid says, in other words, Kate might be in the Thames fishing with the fishes. Yes, in the Thames with the fishes. You know, that's that old mafioso. You're going to be sleeping with the fishes. If you don't give me my money, you're going to be sleeping with the fishes. Thank you, YM Droid. That is an alleged possibility, right? Right. Vonzola says accidents do happen. Yeah, they do. They really do. And of course, Snap Unhappy, relatable Kate Middleton reveals hobby, which is already making Princess George, Princes George and Louis, and Princess Charlotte cringe. And of course, they're talking about her photography. Well, if they have witnessed mommy editing photos, of course they cringe. As a matter of fact, being the subject of a Kate Middleton photo, when you realize that that is not your hand, like if I was in a Kate Middleton photo and I look down and I see Louis's hand on my body, don't you think I would freak out? But that is the way Kate edits stuff. Kate will literally take Arnold Schwarzenegger's arms and put it on one of the kids, and that is, you know what I'm saying? That's how she allegedly edits her photos. So of course the kids are cringing when they see mommy's at it again. Let me see. The Kate Princess of Wales enjoys a popular hobby in spare time, but is really bad at it. Is that photography? Are they talking about photography? Because if it is, no, actually, in November 3rd, 2022, when this article came out, November 3rd, why does that date sound familiar? November 3rd. Oh, well. The royals are not too dissimilar to the public. Oh, yes, they are. Yeah, they are. I mean, you could look at that family, and trust me when I say this, they are very dissimilar from the public. First of all, I have never walked out of my back door and onto a helicopter just so that I could go visit my mom. That has never happened. I have never, ever um, woke up with a staff of 62 people taking care of my kids, running to the supermarket, cooking the food, cleaning the house, driving the cars. I've never had that experience. So I do think that they're different from most people in the public. I'm just saying, there's a strong possibility. So the royals are not too dissimilar to the public. They too have hobbies and pastimes they enjoy doing undertaking when not undertaking royal duties. Kate, Princess of Wales, has shared her various hobbies with crowds during royal visits. But there is one hobby she confessed to being really bad at. And of course, that hobby is crocheting. She has tried to knit and crochet. Now, I have a theory about that. You know how they keep saying Kate has another plaster on her finger? Why is Kate's hands always plastered? Well, that, of course, is Band Aid for you in America. The reason why she's always wearing those bandages is probably because she's really bad. Probably because she's really bad with knitting and crocheting or whatever she's doing. Maybe that's why she's always got those hands bandaged. That explains everything. That does. That explains everything. Let's see. YM George says the tabloids are recycling stories. This swimming story came from the sit down with Wank Ann and Mike Tyndall. Wake and on time. Okay. With okay, let me decipher that. With Willie Leaks, Princess Anne, and Mike Tyndall on the podcast during the IG 2023. Thank you, Legs. I did not know they were recycling this story too. I thought this was supposed to be a new one. I thought they were going to come up with some news for us and that we might you know, but I apparently not. So, less than satisfying king. Charles slams one of Kate Middleton's hobbies. Now, in this one, which I don't have the whole story here, but in this one, it is said that Charles didn't like the photography, that he thought she should do something like watercolors. And if you don't know exactly what watercolor painting is, it is a water soluble paint. It's not like the oil paint or anything like that. Is you know very translucent once you apply it to the paper, or yeah, usually it's on paper, right? And I mean, it's great pastel colors, and then you can use the black to line things. It's really nice. So I've seen some really nice watercolors. As a matter of fact, I've actually seen one of Prince Charles watercolors when I went to the Dumfries house that time. They had some displayed on the wall. I'm like, wow, that's by Charles the Third. I'm sorry, Prince Charles. So Prince Charles reportedly does not have much in common with Kate Middleton. Uh, Now, you see how 1 minute Charles and Kate are so close that they finish each other's sentences. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes Charles will say the end of a sentence for Kate. Then maybe, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes Kate finishes sentences for Charles. Let me stop. Let me stop. Whatever love means. Okay, okay, I'm being silly. Let me stop. Uh, and it's always because of how we're interested in the truth here at Royal Sussex. We have to reach out to Kensington Palace. We just We simply we just can't. I mean to tell you, we just can't. We simply can't go on if we don't reach out to Kensington Palace. We just can't. We simply can't. So since we can't go on, we can't go further. Let us go ahead and reach out to Kensington Palace because they always seem to have a good handle on these things, and you might as well hear it straight from the mumblers. I mean the person's own words.
Well, obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
Yeah, so this day and going forward and such, and some of the members of the family that I met have achieved a lot. Oh, Lydia Washington says prayers for Gwendolyn Daniels. She lost her mother today. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, please, you guys, make sure that you offer some prayers for Gwendolyn Daniels. You probably recognize her name. She has been with us from the very beginning on all of our collective Sussex friendly platforms. So, very sorry to hear that. And yes, we will keep you in our prayers. Thank you so much. And thank you, Lydia. Okay, now I do have a. Okay, this is one of those things where one could argue it would have been better to just ignore them, but I am going to argue I could not do it. I'm going to argue that I could not do it. I'll let you hear it for yourself. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What did I do?
Quite poorly received in the.
Okay, let me try that again.
About whether or not they're keen to have a contrast between when William and Kate were quite poorly received in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay, and the optics of that, and now whether they're going to get a different reception in Nigeria that might make them look great.
Yeah, I think Meghan and Harry will get stuck in on the ground, as it were. So Kate and William were standing in an open-top car in sort of, William was wearing military uniform, and of course the shaking the hands through the fence. So, and that was choreographed. And to be honest, the Queen actually influenced a lot of that. So I feel a bit bad for William and Kate because she wanted to sort of recreate that sort of 50s iconic moment. Anyway, so of course Meghan and Harry will have learned from that and will not do that. And if anything, will try and probably stir up that memory. I think that's a really good point, and make themselves look like they're sort of the people. And Meghan is very keen to tell as many people as possible that she's 43% Nigerian, so she'll be making that point a few times.
So let me pick this apart, if you don't mind.
About whether or not they're keen to have a contrast between when William and Kate were quite poorly received in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay, and the optics of that, and now whether they're going to get a different reception in Nigeria that might make them.
First of all, Harry and Meghan, whether or not they're going to get a different reception in Nigeria. When Harry and Meghan went to the Oceania tour, that was probably the finest trip abroad that any royal had taken since the Queen and Philip spent 6 months on the royal yacht Britannia, right? As a matter of fact, like it or not, the Queen has always done very well, and Philip They have always done very well on their tours. You know, if there was something that had gone terribly wrong, or if there was something incredibly embarrassing, it was a different time, different communication. We don't know much about it. I mean, it wasn't all peaches and cream, of course. There's a lot of issues that have come about with some of the former colonies, now Commonwealth countries, where they would suppress people from protesting, and they still suppress protesting. But I tell you, two people that they have not had to suppress protesting, and that's Harry and Meghan. They didn't have to stop people from protesting them because there was no one protesting them, but they had to stop people from protest or block people from protesting Charles and Camilla when they went to, what was it, Kenya? They had to do the same during the Caribbean tour. They're always stopping people from protesting senior members of the royal family. So there's that. Harry and Meghan don't learn from Will and Kate. Will and Kate are the ones who try to copy and replicate everything that the Sussexes do. But still, like a poor marksman, they just keep missing the target again and again. So there is no universe, there is no reality where they are, Harry and Meghan are going to try to be more like Willie and Kate, right? That's just not a thing. So this is why I told you guys when I started, there's a fine line. Say something, say nothing. But this is the reality of the future of the royal family, is that they're going to use their henchmen in the press to try to rewrite history. They're going to try to make it seem as though Harry and Meghan had a successful tour in Nigeria because of what they learned. It's hard to say that with a straight face, because of what they've learned from the mistakes of Will and Kate. As though William and Catherine are the heroes for taking the slings and arrows so that Harold and Meghan would not have to suffer as they have. That's what they're trying to sell us right now. I mean, she could. Okay, let me finish dissecting this first.
It looked great.
Yeah, I think Meghan and Harry will get stuck in on the ground, as it were. So Kate and William were standing in an open top car in sort of, William was wearing military uniform, and of course the shaking the hands through the fence. So, and that was choreographed. And to be honest, the Queen actually influenced a lot of that.
Are they using Queen Elizabeth II again? Are they really blaming the Queen, who did something back in the 50s or 60s? They're trying to associate the Queen and Philip riding around in an open top car back in, the post-colonial era, not modern day Caribbean, not modern day Jamaica, but the post-colonial era. They're trying to make that comparison. I mean, a lot of things have happened since the Queen and Philip went to Jamaica. Like nowadays, when people go from continent to continent, island to island, they're more likely to fly and not take a yacht. Okay? So that's different. The shaking of the hands. Do you mean to tell me the Queen and Philip were the ones who taught Willie and Katie to reach for children through a fence, or children reaching to them through a fence? How is that something? How is that possible? And then, of course, let me just set the record straight. Jamaica said that it was the Cambridges that were so insistent on having that vehicle prepped and ready to go. They blamed it on Jamaica, on the Jamaican officials or Jamaican government, when in all actuality, they were the ones who called to confirm that the vehicle would be available because they were trying to. So that's actually, let me say this, that's only the honest thing. The only honest thing that has come out of this is that they are confirming in a roundabout way, they're confirming that Will and Kate were trying to do a Philip and Lizzie 2.0. That's the truth. And let me go back just a little bit.
Of course, the shaking the hands
Yeah.
through the fence. So, and that was choreographed. And to be honest,
That was choreographed. Shaking the hands through the fence was choreographed. I would hate to see how it would have gone if they had no choreography.
car in sort of, William was wearing military uniform, and of course the shaking the hands through the fence. So, and that was choreographed. And to be honest, the Queen actually influenced a lot of that. So I feel a bit bad for William and Kate because she wanted to sort of recreate that.
The Queen influenced a lot of that. You see how they are willing to lie? You see how they're willing to lie? They won't tell the truth for the benefit of the person who's innocent, but they will lie to save the idiots. Am I paraphrasing or not? I call myself paraphrasing, but I don't think I was successful. So she just said with her whole chest a bunch of lies. With her whole chest, she just told a bunch of lies, as though the Queen said, why don't you just do what we did back in the 1950s or 60s, was it? And I'm sure that if the Queen was here today, she would respond as only the Queen could. We are not amused. We are not amused. So let me finish this, and then we can.
That sort of 50s iconic moment. Anyway, so of course Meghan and Harry will have learned from that and will not do that. And if anything, will try and probably stir up that memory. I think that's a really good point. And
Harry and Meghan would have learned from that and will try to stir
themselves, look like they're sort of the people, and
they are of the people. Didn't Harry and Meghan go and visit the people when they went to South Africa? Didn't they go and visit the people before they went to visit with any official government people? I think they went to the people first, if my recollection serves.
Meghan is very keen to tell as many people as possible that she's 43% Nigerian.
So that's the other tactic right there, is they are going to repeat that over and over again, and they will roll their eyes and they're going to sigh as if to say that it's like that's Kinsey Schofield. She all but implied that it was that Meghan was making it up. She said, I don't know when to believe Meghan. That's what Kinsey Schofield said. So they're already doing the best that they can to try to tear down the Sussexes before they even step off the plane. They're already working on it. And then also the thing that she was just saying about Meghan's heritage, of course, she's saying that because it will always be done with a sigh and an eye roll or both. Right? A gasp, a sigh, and an eye roll. It will be either or a combination of those to make sure that anybody listening will get the idea that somehow it is so bothersome to acknowledge that, or that it's made up, or any of that. That is the whole point of it, is to try to make it seem as though it just cannot be true. So let's practice, shall we? oh, well, the Duchess of Sussex, you know, with Nana, it's a sigh. Ugh. And of course, as she's speaking, her wig starts sliding back and forth on her scalp. Oh, the the Duchess of Sussex. Oh God. Anyway, so just be prepared, you all, because they are going to be working overtime to try their best to downplay the successes of the Sussexes and also to try to make a mockery of everything, especially where Meghan is concerned. Let me see. TMCD says, sending thoughts and prayers for Gwendolyn Daniels. That is so kind of you. And thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. And also, thank you so much for the super chat. As a matter of fact, you guys, I was going to. I was gonna make a card for condolence, but I'm pretty sure that somebody is going to beat me to it. Right, somebody? So, in regards to that, let me see here. I am going to do this now so that you will know where to leave your kind thoughts and prayers for Gwendolyn Daniels. Okay. Okay, how come I'm not seeing that? Anyway, Love Wins movement has been deputized has been deputized by me to let me see. How come I can't find the channel? Anyway, when I see it, I'm going to put it in the in the at the top of the chat. Oh, there we go. I got it. I got it. No worries, you guys. I got it. So I'm going to find the community tab. 10 minutes ago. Wow. Love Wins movement. You are a treasure. Love Wins movement has already put a card up, and I am going to share that link right here. That is so thoughtful of you. Thank you, TMCD. That is so thoughtful of you. Oh, that's not right. All right, let me get the link here to. Thank you so much for doing that. That is so thoughtful. So I'm going to put the link at the top of the chat so you will know where to go and leave your thoughtful words for. Oh, there we go. Gwendolyn Daniels. And I put the link at the top of the chat. So feel free to do that at any time. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. All right. See how this community works. See how this community works. I love the way that you all take care of each other. I really do. I love the way you guys always look out for me. It's just this community, especially for some of us that are older, that don't get about as much as we used to, has become very, very valuable. So thank you all for everything that you do. Okay. See how in sync we are? I mean, how did I know? I mean, I go over there and already Love Wins Movement has put the card up there for us. Okay, wait. What? Let's contrast Harry and Meghan. Other tours to wank? Exactly, Legs. Exactly. I could not believe it. You know, when I saw this, my glasses fogged up. I was just like, no, she didn't. And she's just making up stuff. That is not true. That Harry and Meghan are likely to benefit from Will and Kate. This is the same Harry that already has established a relationship with the Indigenous First Nation people of Canada for the up and coming Invictus Games, right? The winter adaptive winter sport game. He has already established a relationship. Do you guys know the last time a royal tried to visit with them? They knew that they were going to be used for the sake of publicity, and they said no. They said no. Yet, not only did Harry reach out to them, but they were in Dusseldorf. They were in Dusseldorf. They had a chance to share their culture with people in Dusseldorf over a year before they actually have the games in Canada. Now that's being very thoughtful, right? That is how Harry works. Harry has been a diplomat and a global leader, a global statesman, far longer than William, and has done far more work than William. William wants his people to set up photo ops. Harry has done the work. The Queen knew that she could not rely upon William, so she asked her favorite grandson. And by the way, don't think tabloid media, I didn't hear them try to say that Peter Phillips was the Queen's favorite grandson. Now, you all know. That's what I'm saying. It's one thing to say, oh, just ignore it, just ignore it. But for people that are new to this information, that are new to the backstory, you certainly don't want people to hear the wrong information. Now, any given day, I'm lucky to have 20,000 people watch any of the videos. Sometimes it's more like 13,000 people. But it does not matter. I will do what I can to set the record straight. Because they are tinkering around with the reality of it. They're trying to rewrite the history. And all you need to get away with it is for people who know better to say absolutely nothing. It's very Camilla. It's the long game. The reason why Diana cannot shine the way she's supposed to is because tearing Diana down is the only way to build Charles and Camilla up. That's the pattern. Tearing Harry and Meghan down is the only way that you can build up Will and Kate. Because left to their own merits, it ain't ever gonna happen. Left to their own merits, it will never happen. Those are two of some of the most useless individuals. Useless, mediocre, lackluster, dull, totally lacking in any type of imagination, zero intellectual curiosity. They just want to show up and smile. Again, thank you, Lex. Let's see. Oh, let's ask the Jamaican Prime Minister. He already said what he thinks, right? We're moving on, and we're moving on. Thank you for that. Yes, that's his thoughts. We're moving on. He listened, he observed, and he said, what? We're moving on. Let me see. Meghan's heritage connects her, so they are belittling it. Yep, exactly. Exactly. They want to undermine and they want to make it a joke. They want to bring sarcasm and innuendo. That is what they're trying to do. Is they want to introduce a bit of doubt to the story. Again, the sigh, the eye roll, all of that to try to make it seem so bothersome to even mention it. So they're what they're hoping is that somehow Harry and well, actually Meghan, that is somehow Meghan is going to just not mention it to try to downplay it, or in other words, they want to try to shame her from expressing her genetic background, her ancestral background. They want to try to discourage her from it. Okay. Let us go on. So here's an example of what they were speaking of. I'm pretty sure by now most of you all have seen this, but because this is like my best day since Christmas, when I saw all of this, that was my best day since Christmas. I thought that I'd have to wait till my birthday or the next Christmas before I could feel that type of joy and optimism. But no, I didn't have to wait that long. All I had to do was wait for Will and Kate to go on their Caribbean tour. It didn't take long before it all began to unravel. So there they are, reliving the Queen and Philip, right down to the lace dress that Kate is wearing, right down to the lace dress. The only thing is, Kate opted to not wear any gloves. And of course, she's not wearing any gloves because she wants to make sure that she can keep looking at that ring. That way, she'll know that her 10 years of stalking, the dating, that her 10 years of dating has paid off. Why did I say stalking? That's so weird. Anyway, um, that's the same vehicle. The only thing that's different is now it seems to have grown some white wall tires. But and there, of course, is Philip wearing his is that a naval uniform? And of course, the reaching through the fence. Um, that was so awkward. And again, representation matters. If you don't have people working for you, if you don't have people on your team that could say to you, and even if they did have people on the team that could have helped uh, prevent this, would they have listened? Would they have felt secure enough to be able to say, hey, I think that's a mistake. The optics are really bad. But I mean, take a look there. Take a look. Now, this is an old photo. Probably 4 years old, maybe. As you can see, maybe older than that, maybe 5 or 6 years old. There's only one person who seems to be non-white, and he's back there by the door. And why is he by the door? Why is his shoulders not in alignment with the others? Because they invited him in last minute. I mean, the chauffeur has to stay with the vehicle, doesn't he? So they invited him in last minute. But the rest of them, the English roses and the like, those are the people that were advising them, and they were supposed to be the ones that looked out for the best interests. But these are people who couldn't take an email at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? Which I don't think anybody should. When you wake up, you see the email and you're just like, I'll give that some thought while I'm on my way in, right? But no, a 5 a.m. email was an insult. It was an affront. maybe if they had opened up the email, they would have heard something like, guess what? Reaching to those black kids through a fence may be a bad idea. Riding in an open top vehicle in the modern day Jamaica reeks of colonialism. Maybe that's a bad idea. They wasn't picking it up because nobody ever put it down for them. And so there's William looking very disgusted, very pitiful. Prince William and Kate Middleton's disastrous royal tour is proof they need to step up as future of the monarchy, right? They need to step up as the future of the monarchy. Well, where are they now? Where are they now? Kate has not been seen since Christmas, and William, he has the occasional public appearance. William was only out today because Harry is coming to the UK soon. That's the only reason why he was out. That is the only reason why he was out. And he's not done yet because they have to make sure that he's surrounded by a lot of black people, a lot of black kids, and then they'll be satisfied. That is the other thing. We're going to see more black people in the coming week. We won't even know how many black people there are in Britain until next week. Then we're going to find out. We'll be like, wow, I didn't know there were so many black people in Britain. Thank goodness the royal family is there visiting with them, hearing their stories. The British Empire controlled Jamaica for more than 300 years and forced hundreds of thousands of African slaves to toil the island under brutal conditions. I wonder if William was aware of that history. Prince William and Kate Middleton are being watched carefully to curb royal mishaps in the future. Well, that's a little bit late, isn't it? That is closing the barn door after the horses are. Oh, why did I say that? Didn't that just happen? Didn't that just happen? But anyway, let's leave Camilla out of this. I don't want to get the ASPCA after me. But yeah, so they're going to be watched. As a matter of fact, there's been several articles saying that Will and Kate will be observed. They're going to be watched. I don't know who's watching them because they still screw up every time. The last time they screwed up something was Kate's illness. How do you screw up someone's illness? How do you do that? Someone has a potentially fatal condition, right? They're rushed to the hospital. They have emergency surgery, allegedly. And instead of having the sympathy and goodwill of all humanity, by the time Kate sat on that bench, they were the laughing stock of the world. Not just Britain, not just America, but the world. Everybody was laughing at them. They were so desperate that they had to somehow generate an image of Kate and put her on a bench and have her recite some words about her situation. You almost forget that by the time that moment came about, we weren't trying to find out what's wrong with Kate. We just wanted proof of life. And the fact that incandescent with rage William would have to have his wife go out there by herself, possibly, if not some deep fake video, allegedly. By the time that happened, it was only brought about because people thought he had did something horrific. That's what the world thinks of him. It couldn't have been more colonial if Prince William had wore a pit helmet and driven a tank through Kingston. Jan Moore, verdict on the royal tour that splits opinion. Even Jan had a dig at him. After the Sussexes' royal exit, the Fab Four feud that ensued, it should come to no surprise that Prince William and Kate Middleton are being watched closely by Queen Elizabeth. The Queen wasn't watching them closely. William doesn't listen to anybody. That's why that happened. He wasn't being watched. How could you watch someone who doesn't give you the time of day? Her Majesty is not trying to see anything more, any more royal drama unfold anytime soon. I should think not. Anyway, I'm going to continue. Let me see. Kate and William Caribbean tour hit by claims of tone deaf PR. Yeah. Perfect Storm Royals misjudged Caribbean tour. Sure. Prince William and Kate's Caribbean tour has been a royal disaster. Surely. The Crown and the Commonwealth face a perilous future. Prince William and Kate's PR misstep that overshadowed the royal tour. William and Kate's Colonial Caribbean tour was cringeworthy. All of that. What does Harry and Meghan need to learn from them? They went on the Oceania tour. That was successful. They went to Africa. They went to South Africa, and Harry took that trip away for a couple of days. That was successful. Right? So what else do they need to do to prove that they got a handle on this? They went to Morocco. That was successful. As a matter of fact, even though Meghan was, very much pregnant at the time, they did not want Will and Kate. They requested Harry and Meghan. They didn't want Will and Kate. But you guys, it gets better. Prince William says monarchy not racist, but look who's carried him on throne in 2012. Black people. Kate and William's Jamaica tour is a complete waste of time as Queen faces dethroning. Remember, they're moving on. This is Harry and Meghan in Australia. Look at the crowd. Look at the epic crowd. A crowd that followed them every place they went. Why do you think Harry and Meghan chose one of the images descending those steps in Australia for the docuseries? It is a constant reminder of how successful they were. Now, of course, part of their time on the throne was, not on the throne, but in the family, was consumed with maternity leave. Part of their time, of course, was when they made their exit in early 2020, or should I say late 2019, because they merely came back, packed up, and did one last round of engagements, and then they were gone. And then there was the global pandemic. But let's talk about the non-royal tours, like when they went to New York City. Huge success. Or let's talk about the Invictus Games. Dusseldorf, The Hague, very successful. When are they not having a successful time? The worst that happened was because they were being pursued by photographers. That's it. They have been well received and have been extremely professional every place they've gone. And the only thing that you could ever try to accuse them of is somehow targeting the family But of course, that is a non-issue because they were the ones that were being attacked by the family. There was the leaking and the briefing, and Harry and Meghan only responded to the vicious attacks that they were being subjected to. But other than that, they have been professional through and through. Even when they responded, they were professional. They didn't leak, they didn't brief. Everything that they had to say, it came directly from them and nobody else. They didn't solicit any royal reporters or friends. Whatever they said, that's what they meant. They have been professional through and through. Meghan hasn't done anything to disrespect that family. Nothing that has not been said before. Charles criticized his parents, questioned their upbringing, his upbringing. The Duchess of York, she's still in the family way, given everything she said. And also Sophie Wessex. Same thing, except she didn't just speak truth. She was speaking with disdain about that family. Disdain. There was no doubt that she didn't care for him. And then if you take a look here, Prince Harry should be touring Australia, not William. That's what they said in 2020. Prince Harry should be touring Australia, not William and Kate. Champions of the environment and mental health, the Duke and Duchess are more than qualified to visit fire-affected towns down under, and yet they no longer can, writes Carrie Parnell. The thing is, Harry was needed. He was wanted and was loved, especially by Australia. When the couple last toured, they came across as so genuine and caring. I wrote at the time they were a royal couple that likes the likes of which we have not seen before. And they have the power to make people, and more importantly, corporations, care about things they haven't previously. Maybe they still do. Rumor is they want to style themselves as the Obamas or Clooney's champions of charitable causes around the globe. So Harry, if you still have that power, when you are going to ignite it. So this was written in 2020, just to give you some perspective. That was from February 2020. Let me take a drink of water. That was February of 2020. At the time, Harry and Meghan were trying to establish themselves in California. And at that time, they said that they were going to create a foundation and that they will model their future selves like that of that statement, statesman Bill Clinton or statesman Barack Obama. That's exactly what their intentions were to create a foundation and also to invest and get into production. Like the Obamas produced that movie for Netflix, whatever that movie was. That's exactly what they're doing. It's no secret. It's no surprise. Exactly what their intentions were. And that is exactly what they're doing. And again, they have in no way insulted or degraded anybody doing so. It is exactly, things are on course. Everything is going exactly the way they planned. And in such a short time, and considering that the fact that the world was in the throes of a global pandemic, I would say that they have been hugely successful thus far and will continue to succeed. And they have the winning hand. And that is why they're so triggered. That is why they're so triggered, because they know that the Sussexes are playing with a winning hand. They have each other. They have their talent. People love them. And they are going to be billionaires. And they're going to be loved. And they're going to do all the good in the world that those other two, not only is it that they're not capable of it, they're not interested in doing anything. They've never wanted to work. Kate doesn't want to work. She just wants the crown. That's what she's interested in. And William, he's not interested in work. He just wants people to kiss up to him. That's it. They're not self-starters. They're not motivated. They have a staff. Okay, let me show you this right here. Let me show you this. This was generated around that time, and I still have it. There it is. See how they have those merged together? Clinton Foundation, Obama Foundation, Archwell. That is the blueprint. That is the blueprint. Or should I say, that's the future. And it's okay. It's just amazing that Harry and Meghan, neither one of them have ever held public office. They're certainly not politicians, but yet they have enough integrity. They have enough respect from people that they are statesmen, that they are global influencers. They made the most influential, Time Magazine most influential 100 people list. There's a reason for that. People trust them. And as evident by Kate's illness, alleged illness, and the Photogate, we definitely cannot trust those two. They cannot be trusted, and people know it. Yes, absolutely golfing, Mom. Harry wanted to live in Africa. It wasn't possible for him to just leave the royal family at that time, but he wanted to be a tour guide in Africa rather than be a prince of the realm and be a part of that circus, to be a part of that firm. He'd rather take his chances of getting stampeded by a group of elephants or eaten by an alligator. He'd rather take his chances. He'd rather take his chances out in the wilderness than to actually deal with that family. What does that tell you? And it's not the people of Britain. It's not the people. It's his family. It's the institution. And he said it. I want a family, not an institution. 2/3 of Aussies are against taxpayers funding Kate and William's royal tour to bushfire affected areas. 2/3 of the taxpayers said, stay home. Do not come here. Charles, no king of hearts, as he and Camilla struggle to compete with Queen on Australian tour. The Brisbane crowd for Charles and Camilla was barely a tenth of the number who came to see the Queen 7 years ago. Really? And that was back in what, 2018? That was back in 2018. Wowee. How's this for history? How's this for history? This is the stuff that those so-called royal experts, they won't touch this. They won't touch this. because of the invisible contract. Everything that has been said and written by those people that we see in media every day, they have to pretend like it was never a thing. And then there's this. This is also from 2021. I didn't put the name of the person who added this screenshot. And not that it matters, but it wasn't a woman of color. It wasn't a man of color. From what I could tell, this was a white woman who knows right and wrong when she sees it. And she said, 5 men character assassinating a woman's character. No wonder Meghan left the UK. This was uncomfortable to watch. This is the reality women face daily. Disgusting. And there you have it. 5 white men and a white woman, all of them ganging up on Meghan. And this is a daily thing. This is a daily thing. The only thing that has changed is that they have found the occasional black face that they could add to one of those panels. But otherwise, it's more of the same. It is more of the same. You notice Dr. Shola doesn't make it on the air that much anymore, right? They would, anytime the world that they occupy, the spaces they occupy, GB News, Talk TV, Good Morning Britain, all of those, anytime you would rather have Angela Levin instead of academically gifted, knowledgeable Dr. Shola, says a lot, because they're not trying to appeal to people that are wise and worldly. They're not trying to appeal to educated people. They want someone who can speak on their level. Angela Levin, right? So anyone who might be in an institution somewhere, anyone who lives with 50 cats, 2 of which are no longer alive, but they don't even notice it. Anyone who is hoarding or living in a mama's basement, those are the people that Angela... That's Angela Levin's constituents. Those are the people that she's speaking to. Anyone who walks around with a stain on their shirt, and I do mean every shirt they own, right? Those are the people that Angela Levin is talking to. People that, well, you know who I'm speaking of. The great unwashed. The tinfoil hats of the world. Now, I have this one. I don't think I've ever seen this, but I do recall at the time that one of the few voices after the Oprah interview that seemed to get it, Hillary Clinton was one of them. As a matter of fact, she may have been the loudest voice at the time. So let me cue that up for you. Oh, that's not it.
Tour. Because when you were talking about the psychological and attitudinal issues facing women around the world, the entire nation, and by now the entire world, has been talking about the interview last night with the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, and her husband, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. And I'm wondering what happens when the business is a royal family. And the bigger issue here is what happens when you have women who are in powerful positions or in powerful families who feel like their voices are being squelched, their freedom is being denied. What just talk about your thoughts and reactions to the interview, and what if there is a bigger message to women to be gleaned from what Meghan Markle had to say last night.
Oh, I thought it was an extraordinary 2 hours of television. And I thank Oprah for conducting the interview as only she could. I found it so heartrending to watch. You know, I've met obviously both Harry and Meghan. I knew Harry's mother, Princess Diana. I know the other members of the royal family. And it just was heartbreaking that this incredibly accomplished woman, Meghan Markle, who falls in love with Prince Harry, was not fully embraced by not just the so-called firm, which is the name for the permanent bureaucracy that surrounds the royal family, but by the media in the UK. You know, I've had my time in the in the box with the British tabloids, as anybody who is in the public eye has had, and their cruelty in going after Meghan was just outrageous. And the fact she did not get more support, that the reaction was, you know, let's just paper it over and pretend that it didn't happen or it will go away. Just keep your head down. Well, you know, this young woman was not about to keep her head down. You know, this is 2021, and she wanted to live her life. She wanted to, you know, be fully engaged, and she had every right to hope for that. And I just think that every institution, you know, obviously last night we were thinking about, you know, royalty in the UK, but every institution has got to make more space and acceptance for young people coming up, particularly young women, who should not be forced into a mold that is no longer relevant, not only for them, but for our society. And it was heartbreaking to see the two of them sitting there having to describe how difficult it was to be accepted, to be integrated, not just into the royal family as they described, but more painfully into the larger societies whose narrative is driven by tabloids that are living in the past. And I just hope that there will be some serious, thoughtful consideration in all of the institutions, not just in response to what, you know, Meghan and Harry were talking about, but literally across all of our societies. Why do we make it so hard to incorporate diversity, to celebrate it, to be proud of it? And I just couldn't help but watch last night and really feel that these two young people, because by my standards they still are young, are not only standing up for themselves and for their children, but they're really trying to send a message about what institutions, including the one that they were part of, need to do to be more dynamic and forward looking than they currently are.
So, thank you, Madam Madam Secretary. Thank you very much. Well said. And of course, we will top that off with an applause. There we go. Okay, there we go. So there, she said a mouthful. It wasn't just a couple words and then she moved on. She had a lot to say about it, especially where the tabloids are concerned. I don't think any woman in history had ever been vetted as much as Hillary Clinton, especially when it comes to running for public office. But I'm starting to think now that unfortunate title may have shifted over to Meghan. I don't know that anyone has ever been so grossly vilified on an ongoing basis. You know, right now they're playing fast and loose with the realities of security for the Sussexes by playing the semantical game of, oh, well, I would think that living in LA is more dangerous. And after all, when there's a public event, there's always extra added security. That's the safest. You know, they were even trying to say that when they went to The Hague. And yes, I get it. I don't suspect anything is going to happen to Harry if he goes to a funeral or a wedding or whatever. Anything that's official where he is, you know, working, well, not working, but when he is acting as though he's still a working royal, when he's doing an official engagement for the royal family, and that is an official engagement, when he's doing those things, I don't expect anything is going to happen. But if Harry decides to veer off of that path, then where is his security? Where is his security? If he wants to go to visit his mother's grave, where's his security? If he wants to visit with friends, where's his security? If he wants to bring his family, where is the security? Will he have the same royal protection that he deserves, of course, that he had his entire life? And Charles knows exactly why Harry had to leave. And he is not just partially responsible, but mostly responsible. William may actually have been the one that has done the most leaking and briefing, allegedly, but Charles is in the position of authority. And at any time, he could have put a stop to this. Or should I say, at any given time, he probably never should have started it in the first place. Because all of this started with Diana. All of this started with Diana. In order to try to create a more positive profile for himself and for, oh God, I almost said something, for her, in order to create a positive image for the two of them, they had to get in bed with the tabloids. And that is where this is all starting from. Is Charles trying to recover from his humiliation after going toe to toe with Diana. And then, of course, from there on, he began to throw his kids under the bus. He's done everything he could to try to save himself by sacrificing his own children. And it's bad enough to do that for himself, but for the likes of Camilla, God help him. Oh, disgusting. Now, I am going to end with Sophie Wessex. This might take about 30 minutes, you guys, but hopefully not. I'm going to try to get through this. But yeah, if you need to get to sleep or if you starting your day, you could always come back and watch. But I got a couple things to say about that self-contained botanical garden. Sophie Wessex. Oh, she was so brave, wasn't she? I still call her Wessex, but she is the Duchess of Edinburgh. But she was so brave the way she stared down the Russians over in Ukraine, right? At least they'd have you believe that she put on tactical gear and camouflage. She put a little what is that grease paint under her eyes so not to show the paleness of her face as she traversed those swamps and forests and ravines and such to single-handedly take on Putin's army. That's what they want us to believe because she was so brave. I would think bravery starts with wearing one of the ugliest dresses in creation, right? To me, she had me at floral print dress. She did. She had me at floral print dress. That hideous dress that she's wearing, that took a lot of courage to wear something like that. Knowing that people might pelt you with stones or boo you or hawk and any of those things, knowing that all of that's possible, you go out anyway. That is brave. There's not too many people who wear something as ugly as that. Brave Sophie becomes the first British royal to visit Ukraine, along with her royal protection officers, a diplomatic team, and of course, the military, police, and so on from Ukraine. I would say she was pretty well protected, but again, we have to pretend like she's brave. I mean, there's Ukrainians every day who technically live in a war zone, but yet, even though people have gone back to school, opened up coffee shops and such, we have to pretend like Sophie was in immediate danger, right? Believe me, if there were shells flying, there's no way in the world that she would have gone over there. It's not like she had to sneak in the dark of night. They knew she was coming. As a matter of fact, that dress is one of the few objects on Earth that is so hideous you can see it with the naked eye from outer space. So they know what her movements were, right? They have spy satellites that can pick up outfits like that. Right? They have satellites that can pick up, an outfit like that actually has a heat signature. It does. Anything that is that busy produces a small amount of heat. Now, you can't really tell from a distance, but using some of those electronic telescopes, they can pick up the heat signature of that dress. There's like a contrail. You ever see how those planes are flying and you see that the vapor that's coming off the engines? That's called a contrail. Well, that dress actually produces a contrail. Yes, it does. Okay. And of course, if one was able to zoom into it, um, one would see that there is a variety of foliage. Now, from a distance, kind of like an abstract painting, it makes sense, right? Actually, it doesn't really make sense. Up close or far away, it doesn't really make sense. Nothing is sensible about that dress. Brave Sophie becomes the first member of the royal family to visit Ukraine during the war. Now, they were saying that if Meghan and Harry had stuck around, especially Meghan would be the one going to these war zones right now, not Sophie. It would be Meghan. She would be the obvious next in line to go and do these things. So Meghan was supposed to do like Sophie and wait 25 years before you finally get recognized, because it took 25 years for Sophie to make the front pages, and it wasn't about her past life. 25 years it took for Sophie to make the front page. But in the old days, this was a Sophie front page. Sorry, Sophie quits PR job. That's right. Sophie, brave Sophie, she didn't have enough courage to keep that job. She quit. She quit. She was trying to do a half in, half out, but it's hard to do those things if you're a half wit. So Sophie had to fold and going on, the idea that the Queen is going to rescue herself and her husband, she managed to quit. So she gave up her career. Lackluster it may have been, but she gave up her career. Now, Sophie Wessex PR firm is shut down with 1.7 million debt, and she's paid back £5,000. Wow, she's rich, right? Not really. When Sophie came to that family, she was heavily in debt. The PR firm was on the verge of collapse and then eventually went out of business. I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess. They had to shut down. And look at that. Prince Edward, the Hollywood years, why his TV career ended in a right royal disaster. Harry and Meghan aren't the first royals to go into TV business, but they probably won't be calling Uncle Edward for it. Woo! Boy, I tell you, sometimes, do you see how snarky the British tabloid media is? Well, they won't be calling Edward for advice. They won't be calling Sophie or Edward. And then take a look there on the right side. Take a look at that dog of a dress. You see it? That's little Sophie on the prairie. I call that the little Sophie on the prairie dress. The crash occurred on a busy junction of Cromwell Road and Nevern Road on the A4 in Earl's Court, West London, just a few minutes drive from Kensington Palace. Sophie, garden party. Oh yeah, that's her at a garden party. That's Sophie at a garden party. Now see, she gets it wrong. She should have wore that floral print to the garden party, and she should have wore that to a funeral. Woo! Either wear that to a funeral or wear it to a butter churning festival. That's something one wears when you're churning butter. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure she has those bitter butter memories. And then let's really go low, right? Let's really go low. Sophie the tapes. Ooh, Sophie's aid, gay, and of course, sex and drugs. Sophie's ecstasy and baking soda shop. Sophie, her marriage in crisis. I'm telling you, Sophie is a one-woman soap opera. Sophie just laughed as Chris pulled her. Ooh, I can't even say that. Am I old enough to say? Woo! Raffaella Bertoni, thank you so much for being here. Somebody has lived a full life, haven't they? Huh? Oh, Reva Henderson is comparing that dress to the Depression era. Well, of course, anybody who wears a dress like that is probably pretty depressed. Really? I did not know that. That is a Sun exclusive. Wow. Let me see. Uh-huh. Page 3. I got to find that one if it hasn't been scrubbed from the internet. And then over here, the conversation just died. Frank Skinner recalls awkward exchange with Prince Edward and the Countess of Wessex. They had the nerves, the two of them. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you all before, but let me find it. Oh, it's a scandal, you guys. It is an absolute scandal. And I, for one, am here for it. Hold on a second. Where is it? I am here for it. Oh, there it is right there. The conversation just died. Frank Skinner recalls awkward exchange with Prince Edward and the Countess of Wessex. Okay, picture it. What year was that? 2022. Wow, not that long ago, huh? Frank Skinner has revealed that the Countess of Wessex criticized his performance of the Three Lions in an uncomfortable exchange that also involved Prince Edward. The comedian actor opened up about the unprecedented conversation during his Absolute radio show at the weekend. Comedy duo Skinner and David Baddiel performed their hit football anthem at the Royal Albert Hall on Thursday, the 1st of December, as part of the Royal Variety performance. The 65-year-old explained that he had arrived at rehearsal feeling unwell, but went ahead with the show. Playing to a full house, the host of Celebrities, the 65-year-old revealed that the royal reception they received was less than complimentary. However, I was gradually getting more ill and more ill as the day went on. He explained, I was struggling. We were singing the Three Lions, so I croaked my way through the dress rehearsal. And then on the night we did the show, it actually hurt to sing it. 4 minutes of hurt never stopped me from singing. I was in physical pain. Then we had our royal thing. Prince Edward and Sophie Wessex. Rather than the usual small talk, Sophie was forthright in her opinion of his performance. I repeat, Sophie was forthright in her opinion of his performance. Sophie had led the way, bearing in mind I'd had a really hard day. I battled on like a trooper. So she comes up and says, well, don't give up your day job. Could you imagine that? Sophie walks up to him and says, well, don't give up your day job. I thought this is not how the royal walk thing works, that is. And we honestly said, pardon? It's supposed to be just banal compliments, right? I said, was it that bad? And she said, well, I could tell no, it's not what you do. I can tell it's not what you do. That's coming from Sophie, who's married to someone who tried to make it in entertainment, only for him to go running back to the royal family with his tail between his legs. So I guess she does know a bad act when she sees it, right? And I said, well, normally we're like comics. She said, yeah, but you're on the screen, aren't you? You're not used to a live crowd. I said, well, we've done a bit of live stuff, stand up and stuff. But she's sticking with it. And she said, yeah, but you haven't done anywhere the size of this. I said, look, I did the Palladium last Sunday. She looked at me like, you're not supposed to be arguing. I don't think you're supposed to be arguing with me. You're supposed to just nod. It was like a really awkward thing, right? So Skinner went on to say that Prince Edward also came up to him and Baddiel and criticized their performance. He said that while he could not recall the exact words, he remembered sarcastically replying, "That's a good review." The comedian felt their conversation efforts were somewhat lacking for people of their stature. I think that's what happens when they don't really do stuff much. And the royal family, that is, have reduced in numbers for various reasons. And so they've been pulled out to do this. And it's a bit of a skill just talking to someone for 10 minutes and not upsetting them. He added that Prince Edward eventually ran out of things to say to him. There was a bit where it just died, the conversation. It just died. It never happens with the royals. It just like died. So he's saying that usually when you're dealing with the royals, small talk is something that they're very good at. Sophie and Eddie, they couldn't even master the art of small talk, which is interesting considering that Edward considers himself a bit of an artist. And Sophie, coming from a PR firm, it seems like he would be able to talk, but neither one of them seemed to have a good handle on it. So he went on to say, he added that Prince Edward eventually ran. Okay. There was a moment where it was probably 3 seconds, but it felt like 10 minutes. He said, "So things are well." And I thought, no, come on. And in the end, I started to think I wanted to put an arm around him a bit. I think it's tough, he said. So that was their experience with Sophie and Edward, the secret weapons of the royal family. Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Well, I tell you, those secret weapons, they're so secret, you never see what they can do. There's Sophie arguing, or not arguing, but pretty much dressing down, cussing out one of the royal protection officers. You know, being Sophie Wessex is not easy. And having nice clothes that fit well and, not looking kind of dumpy and such, is hard. It's very difficult for her. So I'm pretty sure at that point she caught a glimpse of herself wearing what would have been a gorgeous dress on somebody like Meghan, but on her, well, not so much. And there, I mean, come on, take a look at her. Don't she look like she should be wearing a babushka and going to get some potatoes from the market so that she can make some type of mutton for dinner or something? I don't know. But anyway. Charles will make Prince Edward and Duke. Charles will make Prince Edward the Duke of Edinburgh. Source claims King has had a change of heart after his brother felt discussions to bypass him and give the title to Princess Charlotte was a slap in the face. To show you how petty and cruel Charles is, Charles allowed the conversation about the title going to to Charlotte, to continue for months, if I recall. That title was supposed to go to them as soon as Philip died. The Queen was not going to bother with it. She just didn't care. She was going to let Charles do it since he was kind of like a regent at the time. She was going to let him handle that. And he did not. As a matter of fact, he tortured his brother and sister-in-law by making them wait and wait and wait. Like right here, Charlotte, the Duchess, they were literally saying Princess Charlotte to be the Duchess of Edinburgh. King Charles isn't giving the Duke title to brother Edward as he wants to keep it for his granddaughter in tribute to the Queen, who also held it, and to honor the line of succession. Ain't that something? Now, see, Charlotte is going to be very important to the future of the firm. So it would make sense to make sure that she gets a title worthy of her position, because I got a feeling that Yes, Raffaella Bertoni. I hope that doesn't haunt your dreams, but yes, it's been said by one of the papers that she, was showing too much. At least I think that's what the article implies. I haven't actually seen the article. So I would feel sorry for Sophie, but because of this moment where Sophie is giving the stank eye to Meghan when she was throwing shade and giving the evil eye to Meghan, I will never, ever forgive her for the way she conducted herself in the presence of our Duchess, the people's Duchess Meghan. I will never forgive her for that. Here's the whole photo. There's Meghan, suffering from grief and loss, homesick to see her children and her mother. Remember, they were only supposed to be there a couple days, and then they were out of there. But instead, they were there for over 2 weeks. And to make things worse, there's Sophie, someone who really shouldn't be there herself, and she's given this menacing look to Meghan. For what reason? For what reason? I don't know. I'll never know. They rode in the car together. And I remember I predicted that the two of them were going to share a car. And the next day, there they were. And they did not glance at each other or anything. It was hard to watch. But she made her feelings known. And little Charlotte seems to be very confused about evil Aunt Sophie being so cruel to my loving, lovely Aunt Meghan. It's confusing. And then you take a look here. One of the squatties, who I chose not to identify her account, says, no beekeeper's net, no flowers or bows, no flashy jewelry, and yet Meghan looks the most gorgeous and stylish, shining in pure elegance, simplicity, and high fashion. Hear, hear. Absolutely. Absolutely. Meghan was serving it that day. And of course, maybe this is a theory that I've long held. Meghan, with all of her serene elegance and beauty, her poise and dignity, looks ethereal. She looks so serene in that outfit. But then again, she always has that perfect posture. And don't ask me how I got these x-rays. But and then there's Sophie, who's built like a brick. If you took a brick and you put some legs and arms on it and and put some blonde hair on it, you'd have yourself a Sophie. See? It's like a beautiful, slender tower next to a big block of concrete and steel, and you know what I mean? It's kind of like let me see, let me make a comparison. How about the Chrysler Building, one of the most beautiful skyscrapers ever designed? And let me see, what's a building everybody hates? Yeah, okay. It's like the Chrysler Building compared to that walkie-talkie building in London, right? On the left is the Chrysler Building, Art Deco, slender, elegant. And then there's that walkie-talkie building, blocky, curved in places that it shouldn't be, and not curved in places that it should. You see what I mean? If they were buildings, that would be the comparison. So Just something to think about. I think maybe that's why she's so upset. And of course, one last look. Take a look all the way to the left. What do you see? You see that gnarly face glancing at Meghan. All of those people there. Talk to your husband. He's right there next to you. But instead, you'd rather try to intimidate by staring her down. What is the point of it? What is the point of it? You're not good enough. You're not worthy enough to conduct yourself like that. You have no real place in the family. And of course, before Charles finally gave them that title, if you remember, I made a video called Not, well, I think, was it a video or was it a live where I said, not a duchess? Not a duchess. And as far as I'm concerned, the way she acts, the way she conducts herself, she's still not a duchess. But you see on the right side there, see how sad she looks? That's because she's looking at the image of Kate in a mirror. Oh, actually, she's looking directly at Kate, but because of the mirror, we could actually see who she was looking at. You see that white in the center of the screen? That's Kate talking to someone. And Sophie is just kind of standing back and staring, wondering, will I ever be a duchess? Everybody keeps getting these promotions, but what about me? I mean, it's been since 1999 and I'm still not a duchess. Instead, King Charles will keep the title himself, although not use it, a courtier explained. A courtier, someone working for Charles, a courtier explained. If that wasn't true, do you know Charles could just pick up the phone and call someone at the newspaper and say, what courtier? But that didn't happen because it was with Charles' instruction that they released that information, letting his brother and his pathetic sister-in-law know that they're never going to be a duke and duchess. They said the king wants to slim down the monarchy. As is well known, that means it wouldn't make sense to make the Earl the Duke of Edinburgh. It's a hereditary title, which would then be passed on to the Earl and Countess of Wessex's son, James Viscount Severn. Essentially, this was accepted by the Earl when he agreed that his children would not be prince or princess. Although the daughters of Edward, elder brother, Prince Andrew, are princesses, that came about long before King Charles' slimmed down agenda. There was a policy change, the source added. So King Charles has not made Prince Edward the Duke of Edinburgh because he is saving the title for Princess Charlotte, the Mail on Sunday has learned. Well, they would know. After all, they are in bed with the Mail. And the revelation comes after months. But take a look at this. This is the actual document from the wedding of Eddie and Sophie. The Queen today is pleased to confer an earldom on the Prince Edward. His title will be Earl of Wessex and Viscount Severn. The Prince Edward thus becomes His Royal Highness the Earl of Wessex, and Miss Sophie Rhys-Jones, on marriage, will become Her Royal Highness the Countess of Wessex. The Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, and Prince of Wales also agreed that the Prince Edward should be given the Dukedom of Edinburgh in due course. when the present title, now held by Prince Philip, eventually reverts to the crown. The Queen has also decided, with the agreement of the Prince Edward and Miss Rhys Jones, that any children they might have should not be given the style His or Her Royal Highness, but would have courtesy titles as sons or daughters of an earl. That is so weird. That is so weird. But anyway, that's what was agreed upon. And in spite of that, Charles not only didn't pass on the title when Philip died, even though the Queen was technically the one to do it, but I think Charles had a lot of say. But when the Queen died, he made Edward wait over a year before he gave him that title. Over a year. He could have given him that title the day the Queen died. But Charles made them suffer. Kate Middleton receives new title from King Charles for taking on more responsibility, which is interesting, seeing that we haven't seen her since Christmas. Prince Edward and Duchess Sophie feel disappointed by King Charles' royal title snub. You guys, it's happening all over again. It took them almost 25 years to get the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. So are they going to have to wait another 20? Are they going to have to wait another 25 years before they get an upgrade from Charles? Okay, so Charles probably won't be here. But still, are they to wait another 25 years before they get another title change? The chosen ones are reportedly sad they didn't get new roles after Prince William and Kate Middleton's latest appointments. So Kate has just received that whatever title they just gave her. And William got something too. But what about the Edinburghs? What are they supposed to get? When do they get something? Now, I'm saying that like it bothers me, but trust me, it doesn't. Now, if you look behind Kate, see Kate on the right side? Do you see that sad individual with her head down? Do you see her back there? That's Sophie. That's the one who was giving those hateful stares to Meghan. She is back there doing what she's going to do for the rest of her life. Follow Kate. She is going to linger in the background and follow Kate Middleton around. What a life. No wonder she was so upset with Meghan, because Meghan has moved on. And she's stuck. She's stuck. Meghan was rich when she got there, and she's even richer than she was the day she got married. Poor Sophie. Look at Sophie. Oh, by the way, look on the left side. There's Sophie glancing over at Kate, wondering why is it that she's getting all of these upgrades and titles and I'm not even a duchess yet. Poor Sophie. Well, that's what you get when you're mean and cruel. I think something happened at the funeral that we were not privy of because Sophie was passed. Really? I wonder what that could have been. Yes, Rory, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, I think I've heard someone mention that before, right?
Bitter. And, somebody needs to say it. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter.
Bitter. Very bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter. All those years of riding to church with the queen and still no title. All those big hats trying to stand out in the crowd and still no title. I mean, this woman literally channeled Pharrell Williams trying to get that title, and it just didn't work. Charles didn't give up that title till he felt like it. And look at this from November 2021. Meghan, 1.1 million searches on, I think it was Google. She was Googled 1.1 million times in that time period, compared to Harry at 579K, followed by Kate Middleton, Prince Andrew, Princess Anne, the Queen, Charles, William, Camilla, Edward, Beatrice, Eugenie, Zara, and way down there at the bottom, you can see Sophie Wessex. I mean, she's so far down at the bottom, that there's an echo. She's so far down at the bottom, there's an echo. That's how far down she is. I mean, she barely made the list, but for the sake of that ugly dress go thy. Way down at the bottom. Now, on the right side, it says, Queen delighted for Prince Harry, but warned him to uphold his family's values. Well, one of the squatties put this collage together. Prince William warns of overpopulation. Well, is the family value to insult the entire continent of Africa? Is that a family value? What about hotel chain drops Countess PR firm? Sophie losing a big contract. That's upholding value. True story behind Princess Anne and Andrew Parker Bowles' affair. Is that a family value? How about anger as Edward's crew films William's University? Remember, William was not supposed to be filmed. That was part of the agreement with the press. But Uncle Eddie went up there and filmed William anyway. And it just goes on and on. Some of the contradictions, some of the hypocrisy, where they're trying to say Harry was warned. But look at some of the things that they have done, meaning the rest of the family. Buckingham Palace banned ethnic minorities from office roles, paper reveals. That's a family value if I've ever seen one. Yeah, so there you go. Just a few of them. I told you I had some dragging to do. And there you can see poor Sophie. She never comes out on top. This is the most attention she's ever got. I mean, look at that pie. I can't even make out her slice of the pie. That's how small it is. But remember, she's a secret weapon. Maybe that's part of the secret. Slim down monarchy would doom the crown to irrelevance and death, writes Richard Eaton. We need youthful energy of Prince Edward's children to help turn things around. Now, you know what? That is so shady. For that magazine article, when they were saying we need youthful energy, why do they feature Sophie and Edward? That's anything but youthful energy. That's anything but youthful energy. Or are we supposed to not look at them and pay attention to the kids? Maybe that's what it was. And then here on the right, you can see Richard Fitzwilliam, where he's trying to speak up for Sophie saying that what is it? Sophie boosts royals with huge success in U.S. Nobody even knew she was here. They actually hired a photographer to go with her because none of the local media was interested, and the royal rota did not join her either. And Harry and Meghan damage. Let me see. What is that? A huge success after Harry and Meghan damage. Sophie is an exemplar of hardworking member of the royal family with relatively low profile. She does a great deal of good. Mm, okay. Even if you can't see her, she's doing something. Why is she on the stage with Hillary Clinton? What qualifies her to be on the stage with Hillary Clinton? Just asking for a friend. Dignified silence. Royals give Harry and Meghan the cold shoulder at coronation and hope they are seated in Iceland. Duke and Duchess will have no place on the balcony, and family members don't want to socialize with them, says friends. So this was some leaking and briefing that went on during the coronation, and that included Sophie's relief that she won't have to curtsy to Meghan. Because before, I remember, she would have been obliged to curtsy to Meghan, seeing that Meghan is a duchess and she was not yet a duchess. So I think she's no longer obliged to curtsy to Meghan. But you know what? I wonder if behind the scenes she had to do that. And maybe that's why she was so angry, is because even though it wasn't captured on film, maybe at some point, especially in front of the Queen, she was required to curtsy to Meghan. I hope Meghan writes about that in her book. Please write about that in your book, Meghan. Inside Meghan and Sophie's up and down relationship, new Duchess is relieved she won't have to curtsy to Harry's wife after actress rejected her as a mentor and an awkward Commonwealth Day comment. So I I apparently there was something about that in the book. At least that's what someone said. I don't remember seeing it, but let me see. Sophie, former Countess of Wessex, has become the Duchess of Edinburgh. Okay, there's no information there. Never mind. Okay. Inside Meghan and Sophie's up and down relationship. Oh, same thing there. But as you can see, there's Sophie trying to bring bell bottoms back. Actually, to bring the jumpsuit back. Both of those are jumpsuits. That light blue outfit, that's a jumpsuit as well. Can you believe she wore that to the Royal Ascot? Can you believe that Sophie, I mean, one of the biggest days for fashion, Sophie showed up looking like she works at a petrol station or looking like a longshoreman. And there she is on the right side channeling Pharrell Williams. Cause she's tacky. She will wear anything that you find in a garbage dumpster. Cause she's tacky. Yeah, I was thinking about reworking that song, Happy. And I was gonna rework it for Sophie and call it Tacky. Cause she's tacky. Very tacky. Ahoy! Oh, I mean, take a look. Take a look. Inspired by Gumby. There, but for the grace of God, goes Sophie Wessex. There she goes. And you know what? That jumpsuit is so ugly that she wears her, I mean, she balls her fist up in case somebody starts something with her. when you wear something like that, you have to keep your fist balled up because you never know when you might have to regulate. Yeah, you never know. Anyway, you guys, I'm done. I am done. Thank you all so much for going along for the ride while I gave a good dragging to someone who I think is deplorable. When you see our queens, it's time to go. You know what I mean. Thank you to the Mod Squad. And our last word of today is tacky. Tacky is the last word of the day. Don't be tacky. Oh, very cool, Adrian Burrow. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, I'm starting to lose my voice. I haven't done 3 hours in quite some time, and I'm starting to feel the effects of it. So before Sophie and Edward start criticizing me, I better get off of this thing. So we're going to close with that. Thank you very much. Love you guys. And also, let's close with Once Upon a Time. Oh, and by the way, you guys, it was a busy last 3 days for me. So I promise I'm going to try to go on earlier tomorrow. But yes, it was a very busy 3 days. I did something that I rarely do. I spent time with people, quality time with family, and it was a beautiful thing. But the third day was the hardest one. So I'm not sorry. I had a good time, and I'm glad for family. But whew, those people are wearing me out. Okay, hit it. Okay, don't forget to go over to Love Wins Movement. There is a condolence card for our beloved Gwendolyn Daniels, who lost her mother, was it? So do that. And, or should I say, please do that. Also, what else was I going to say? Oh, while you're over there, make sure you like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it goes a long way with the algorithm. That way, more people who need to know the truth about Harry and Meghan and not all of that nonsense that they've made up, they will have a chance to hear the other side of things. And I'm so glad to do whatever it is I can do. And so for that reason, again, it doesn't cost you anything, but it is very important to the content creator that these spaces are growing. So please do that. Okay. All right. Good night. Love you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow. Remember, no bad energy.